Now what I'm going to do is take this piece of metal that I cut off. This is the top under bezel. And I'm going to take it down to 1 millimeter thick and see where I am relationship to the height of the piece, if it's what I want. So I may go lighter than 1 millimeter in the end. So here I am. I'm going to put the mill to 1 millimeter and I'm going to just push it through. Here we go. So the bigger the tension or the amount that you're putting the piece through, that means it's not going to go as long. But if you, like I took this from 1.6 down to 1 millimeter thick here. So it's going to make it spread faster and not change the length as much. If I did it several times coming down to 1 millimeter, then it would be longer and not as wide. So let's see what this came out to. So let's see here. 2.15 by 1.07. I'm going to leave that alone. So that's the first piece of it. Now, when I actually utilize it, I'll probably make a few more changes to the height because that might be a little bit heavy for what I want. But for right now, that's where I'm starting from. Okay. Next, I'm going to be taking the rest of the wire. And the rest of the wire is all going to become 1 millimeter wire. So I'm going down further on this. And once I get this down to the 1 millimeter, then I will anneal it, and then I'm going to pull it round. You never want to roll one side so tight that it causes an edge to be formed. You just can't turn around and roll that because it'll end up cracking when you use the wire. So you have to, if you do that, you have to literally sand off that entire edge. So it pays to be careful. So that you can do it. So this should be 1 millimeter. Let's see what happens here. Since I'm going to pull this round, I'm going to take the smallest slot and I'm going to narrow the end so that I can pull it through a draw plate. Now I'm going to show you a little trick. It's hard to anneal a long piece of wire. So here I am over here with my plating machine. You have to make sure it's got a fuse in the back to handle this. But watch this show. I think you'll enjoy this. First thing I'm going to do is knock my light out. I'm going to hook up one end to one end of the wire and one end to the other. Now, before I did this, I already annealed the ends. So basically, watch what happens now as I turn it. I've zeroed out the amount of voltage. And so now what I'm doing, just watch the wire. And you can hear my machine getting hotter. And see how the wire is straightening out? See it's getting red? And so now I'll do it again. That is annealed. So be careful how you handle that because that is red hot. So you can see the brightness has gone out of it already. Okay, we'll go to the next step. So here I am with my draw plate out, and I'm going to take this piece of square wire that I just annealed, and I'm going to take some wax. I'm going to try to coat it a little bit with it. Now I'm going to go to the hole that, got to get the right end here first, the hole that will support me to pull it and not necessarily pull too easily. But here we go. Here's the first hole. And I'm going to go to the next hole. And once again, this wire is growing. And here we are at, this is at 1.1 millimeters round right now. And like I said, I wanted to utilize, well, for the size of the stone, I'll use 1.1. Okay, so there's my wire. There's no edges out there that have broken free. You can see that it's just a long piece of wire. Okay, so I'm going to go back. I'm going to anneal it the same way I showed before. Now I'm going to take my lengthy piece of wire and I'm going to pull it straight. So you notice my plate is no longer there. I'm going to stick one end into my vise, do it tight. Then I'm going to use my pliers for holding on to things. I'm going to grab a hold of the other end and I'm just going to pull on it. You can feel the wire give. So that, except I just bent it. So now, pull it again. So that's basically straight. So while it's on here, what I do is I take a piece of sandpaper. I keep a hold of it again, still with the pliers. And I can just sand some of the oxidation off of it. You can see it's turning yellow. And that takes care of it.